Hello YouTube, and welcome to the South Mountain. That's the house, unpacked. I literally drove the last few remains of what I own down, and I've rented this house for a year by the lovely neighbors over here. It's not a fantastic house, but it'll do. It'll do. Plenty of space for me. Yeah. So basically, there's a big farm in the area called the South Mountain Creamery Farm, and I basically made a deal with the owner that I've got a year to buy it off him. He's going to retire in a year's time. I'll sell off his machinery and his herd, but I'd be able to buy some of the corn land and the farm and the little farm shop that goes with it. But I need 2 million, and I only had one, or actually a bit less than one. So I invested it in some forest land over by Stanton Sawmill, just sort of northeast of there, bought about half of the forest there, and I invested in some machinery. And I really hope that over the coming year I can make enough to be able to buy the farm. As you can see, we're in early spring right now, so I better get started actually. So first of all, the house is not ideal in some ways because we're quite far away. We actually gotta drive a bit every day to get over and do the work, and I can't really afford to hire too many workers right now. As you can see, I'm down to my last couple of $1,000 here, but I hope we'll get going and manage to make the money. Now obviously, if we do make the 2 million to buy the farm, that really doesn't help that much in itself, because we still need money for machinery, and we need some livestock, obviously, to keep the creamery going. So it's going to be a challenge, that's for sure. But on the other hand, you know, got a year logging to do. There's even rumors that there's going a bit slow here. There's even rumors that there's treasure hidden around. I don't really know whether to buy into that kind of stuff, but you know, on the other hand, desperate times, desperate measures. Might have to have a look around and see if any of the rumors are true, at least. But to begin with, I'm gonna head down to the forest. My trusty old truck has arrived and should have unloaded two pretty decent pieces of machinery. I basically invested every single cent I've got now. I'm hoping I'll be able to sell them again at the end of the year if we got enough to get the farm up and running. Obviously they'll have quite a few hours on them by then, but first I just gotta find the sawmill. It ought to be down here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so in here, down the end, the guys at the sawmill didn't mind too much if I used sort of the beginning of the forest road up here just to get set up. And at least, I mean, the good news is it'll be pretty easy to ferry down the lumber and get it sold to them here. So here we are. One buffalo and one scorpion king, and quite a lot of work ahead of us. I guess the first thing we gotta get done is to actually get stuff unloaded, and we better start logging. Now we don't actually own the first part of the forest here. Gotta drive in a bit. Actually, maybe we should just jump back in the truck first of all and take a little look, because it's a pretty bouncy road in here actually. If I just jump into cab view, because really do have to keep your eye out as you drive around inside this forest here. Very steep roads, but yeah, the marker identifying our land is just up around this bend here. So basically anything on the other side of this hill here, all the way up to the top of the forest, is ours to log. So just take a quick look at the map, you can see that that's pretty much 2/3 of the forest there. So there's a decent amount of timber, but I have to admit I really don't know if it's going to be enough. Really hope it is. Yeah, really just kind of got to start getting the machinery moved in. See if I can find my way back out again. I guess by the end of the year we're going to know this forest as the back of our hand. Maybe that we can buy some more forest. It turns out it's completely hopeless in terms of money, but I guess at some point I should look into chipping some of the smaller trees or something like that. But to begin with, we're really just gonna try and get some decent logs cut and get it going. I'm gonna park up here. Try not to be in the way of anybody else moving in and out of the forest here. And we're just gonna get the trailer unloaded as well. Basically just pull down on the fairly straight here. Here we go. A little bit of straight, flat ground to work on. Lots of help. Pop that off. Move the truck so we can actually get our logging machine off. Now, they are good machines. I'm very happy with them. They should do good. But like I say, there's really only me to do all this work, so it'll take a while. How is it now? Change round so we can see driving off here. Actually, need to be able to drive off this the trailer. Guess that's easier facing this way, and just park up over here, preferably without hitting any of these rocks. I guess that's why they've actually left them out here, to avoid machinery kind of encroaching too much on the timber stacks. And we'll get the flatbed out of the way. You know, we're gonna have to have a really good working relationship with the guys here at the lumber mill. So the last thing we want to do is leave equipment lying around that they'll get upset about. But let's see, are we there? There we go. Get that loaded back up again. So the only question is, I'm not quite sure where I can park this without getting in the way, because obviously they've got their own machinery over here that they want to move around. So I might have to try and actually pull it over behind these guys here. So once I've moved the others, I can pull in along the road here. Yeah, that's probably a good plan. So first things first, get our logging machine in. Hopefully our arm's not gonna hit all the trees on the way in, but we should be okay. After all, this is what it's built for. We got the tracked version, just because it is pretty steep hills, but I couldn't afford to put tracks on the buffalo. So, I hope it's gonna be able to make this. Oh god, this is gonna be really tight when we have a load of logs we're gonna try and bring out this way. Here we go. So yeah, this is the beginning of the series. Like I said, the first year is going to be spent logging, which is hopefully just going to span, I don't know, a couple of episodes, show you how far I'm getting, and then we'll hopefully have earned enough. That's the big outcome. It could be a very short series or otherwise, if you don't manage to make the 2 million to buy the farm. We'll park him up here, and then, like I said, don't really have anybody to help me, so I'm gonna have to walk back out, try and get the other logger back up here as well. Start developing an idea of how easy or how hard this is gonna be. We should manage just fine. That's what I have to keep convincing myself, because sold the house, cashed in the pension savings, everything. So we're literally down to the very last few beans. I think I'd prefer to drive this the other way around going in, actually. If at all possible. Whee! Spinning around here. So, get turned around, at least I get the good turn angle on this thing. So yeah, obviously at least with logging we're not too weather dependent or anything like that. We'll simply have to keep pushing through it. I guess the worst thing that could happen is that we get a big dump of snow, makes it impossible to climb up over these hills here. I reckon for now we should be okay. Oh god. It is struggling already. Good thing I didn't buy smaller. I had thought about whether I should just buy a tractor and one of the small trailers to begin with, to have a little bit of more cash in reserve, but I think I'm glad I went for a bigger machine here, because this is tight. There we go. Good stuff. So now I just gotta figure out how to operate this thing as well. Okay, start the engine. Need to set some logging length, don't we? Now, if I can just remind myself how to do that. So let's see. We want as good a length. I think it's 8 meters, isn't it? Yeah, 8-meter logs. That's what we're gonna have to try and go for here. And here we go. First piece of wood on the South Mountain. It's getting cut up. And many more to come. I guess at some point we might have to actually grind the stumps around here as well. There'll be a lot of climbing and reaching with this thing. There are some steep hills around here. Get into park here. There we go. Just gotta make sure I don't get them caught in the tracks as well here. So yeah, in some ways, you know, I think I got a good deal. 2 million for a farm, that's pretty decent. But on the other hand, you know, when you haven't got much and you still got to buy machinery afterwards, it's going to be a challenge, that's for sure. Let's try and see if we can kind of keep them roughly on the same side at least, without destroying any of our nice new machinery here. Obviously we do have a truck that we're not going to make a lot of use for while we're working in this forest, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should hang on to it because it might become useful on the farm for carting grain and stuff like that. Let's have a look, see around. We're already well up on a hill here. Try and come back down a bit again. Oh boy. This is tight. This is very, very tight. If we can reach that one there, it'll be good. Of course we want to get the bit at the bottom included, because that's where the money are. Oh boy. Feels like we're kind of sitting quite precarious on an edge here already. Really don't want to have to pay for anybody to come pull us loose, but I guess it's going to take a little bit of practice around here. Get used to the area. And the forest around it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at on this first one. It's really just a introduction and a background to what's going to be happening. Like I said, I reckon I'm going to be doing a big old pile of logging off screen in between episodes, and occasionally I'll record another episode for you guys to see about how well it's going, and then hopefully once we're through the first year here on Seasons, we'll be in a good enough position that we don't lose the opportunity to buy the farm, because I really wouldn't like that. It's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity we've been given, and we've even been given the time to prepare for it, so we should definitely try and make the most of it. But yeah, that's kind of it for today, I think. I'll be back, and hopefully we'll have sold quite a lot of timber by then. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button if you do want to see some more of it, or drop me a comment.